Ene EOCO boss Cřùshès Afenyo Markins ebusua enye asem keto akra na eye Afenyo Markins arrest former Bafa stock CEO no oba bonten eba be keka ensem bebre na Cřùshès eye EOCO boss no eduma na oye no ono ane nkofo krampo no Cřùshès de oye no omone ne nya adwen because EOCO na what no wa fan to say a personal eduma bi a oye Afenyo Markins can ensem bebre Cřùshès say Raymond Acha or arrest NPP officials na Cřùshès sureties ne bail conditions akese ena ode eto eye NPP officials ne so cause no onte ase say all behave like that ewo ho na we ena eye Raymond Acha responded to Afenyo Markins ne nsem bia abusua ode to dwa mom ko na yenkonkotie ensem Raymond Acha ede to dwa wasan so disgrace was silence Afenyo Markins one nsem bia okay, unsubscribe subscribe and hit on the notification bell so never any update be ever dropping on one so once a bit to me
and apologies because he wanted to speak to just this issue, the small bit of that issue, and to go because he's engaged in something else. We appreciate that. Thank you very much. But like I said, and Raymond Acha says that it is not true. Okay, so it's only fair that his point be put out. He's saying to Afenyo Markin that it is not true that we investigate people who stand surety. The truth is that when documents are submitted as surety with justification, it has to be confirmed by the Lands Commission. Yeah, that's standard. That is not investigating how they acquired the properties. In the case of Hanan, the surety was fraudulent. We did not even pursue that criminal issue. It is not true. This is a lie. So this is Raymond Acha reacting to Osahin Afenyo Markin that people who stand surety and bring their documents to their properties, they get investigated. He's saying, and I read that for the last time, it is not true that we investigate people who stand surety. The truth is that when documents are submitted as surety with justification, it has to be confirmed by the Lands Commission. That's standard, we all know that. That is not investigating how they acquired the properties. In the case of Hanan, the surety was fraudulent. We did not even pursue that criminal issue. It is not true. This is a lie. Yes, so the Deputy Attorney General and the Minority Leader as well. Remember, the Minority Leader had issued a statement and asked them to release the people who were being held because he didn't see the point in they being held. Because they had already spent almost a month or so in EOCO, custody. And so it's part of the reason some people didn't understand what is going on. But as you heard Raymond, because they had been discharged by the courts, a whole new thing begins. So that's why they took them. The show is also brought to you by Ařřèst University, educating ethical and entrepreneurial leaders for Africa. Robert & Sons Optical Services, your comprehensive eye care service provider for 33 plus years. My Way Insurance. Dial *165# on MTN to join My Way today. Syntex Tanks is strong, it's tough. Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature. Gold Board Jewelry, pure, precious, proudly Ghanaian. Osahin Afenyo Markin, thank you very much for making time to join us.
Respected Leonard colleague, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your network.
I think you were about one of the first to issue a statement condemning the rearrest and detention of Hanan and his wife. What again do you want to say? Because they have been released anyway.
Yes, so thank you again. I listened to Mr. Raymond Acha extensively. Clearly, I've learned one lesson as a politician, that there are some institutions that require pure professionalism and not political appointees who may not be willing to adjust. I respect him for his work as an investigative journalist. But perhaps what he doesn't know or realize is that he's alone in this veil. Because, you see, he's made the EOCO a one-man institution. You meet people and they tell you he's on his own. Not listening to his own narrative. He's even breaking down. He said you close at 1 a.m. It's a whole institution. You should look at Kipu, the Director General of DNI. The man is always relaxed. I mean, he's talking to you as if it's a friendly talk, but he's doing his work. You go to the Director of Investigations, you see their posture, their level of emotional intelligence, calm, but they are still getting the facts. In my practice as a lawyer, I've been chasing cases at DNI since 2010. And they are calm, but they are doing the work. If you go to CID headquarters, I mean, that beautiful lady, the Director General of CID, she's with all smiles, but she's doing her work. Those professionals. I am saying that he would have to, internalize the job. And I am just saying this very friendly to him, that he needs a certain high level of professionalism. You know, what he did to Annan, you see, he kept Annan in, and when he kept him in, 36 hours, it was when they offered him malt and pie, and they started throwing up. They sent him to the BNI facility, the clinic there, and then when he got a bit better, they brought him back. Respectfully, the whole period you didn't interrogate him, only for a gentleman to get to the cells, it and open him and say, my boss says go home. You see, what he doesn't know is that those officers are frustrated. They are also talking. They feel very frustrated. So if Raymond really wants to leave his mark and leave a legacy, he has every budget and institutions abroad that are helping EOCO to grow. He should invest in training officers there. A lot of them have been trained. If he wants to train some more, he should train them and allow systems to work. Not to be getting so personal, sometimes directing arrests and all that. You remember you asked him a question that indeed the Attorney General's office has issued a statement about a certain amount, and then he was also doing something, and he tried to defend it, saying that, oh, okay, we are dealing with a petition from FIC. I don't think there's a petition from FIC. I don't think so. You know, Ghana is a small place. Accra is very small. The way he's mistreating people, his own people in government are not happy with him. So I would encourage him to be very professional. Now,
wouldn't it be positive that his own people? Wouldn't it be positive that his own people are not happy with him because he's firm?
You put a question to him on AG's statement, and then he himself could not answer it properly. We listened. I listened to him the whole period. Let me deal with the issue of bail. It is his argument that the quantum of money involved in an investigation,
50 million for the PDS situation,
should be the basis for determining bail. It's not founded in any law. Any legal discretion to be exercised in respect to that. I mean, what he's doing is quite novel. You are investigating. Please take your time and investigate. Look at the circumstances of the person. The person is a public figure. He's walked into your facility. You know his house. You know his address and all of that. You can't go ahead and say that because the amount and the investigation is 50 million, go and bring 50 million. Do you know what they are doing now? When somebody brings a property, the next thing is that they investigate the person who even to surety to find out how you acquired the property. That is what EOCO is doing. They demand for 50 million worth of property, 20 million worth of property. If you get people to bring it, now they begin investigating the persons. I have quite a number of people who have stood surety, and they are now being harassed. How did you get your property?
Who are these people?
All these things are not right.
Who are these people? Who are these people who have posted bail and they are being harassed?
Oh, I mean, I won't mention it now, but the caucus is putting something together. At the right time, we will speak. But what I want EOCO to know is that NPP is able to provide leadership to protect its members. NPP, New Patriotic Party, has the capability to provide leadership to protect its members. We respect state institutions. We believe that there must be rule of law. We believe that once a person gets into public office, a day of accountability will come. That is settled.
But you organize your caucus to go and sit in front of EOCO. You were rather interfering with the process. You were seeking to frustrate them.
No. Protests are far right. We went there in a civil protest because how Wontumi was treated was wrong. And we stated so. We didn't go there to harass him. He refused to grant us audience. We sat quietly, stood quietly. We didn't interfere. That's not interference. We were concerned about the Rambo style. Listen, maybe at the risk of being repetitive, let me reiterate the point of Wontumi. Wontumi had been arrested by police. He went there, police granted him bail. And in fact, EOCO wanted to arrest Wontumi at the premises of the police. Police, as professional as they are, refused to allow that instruction. They said, no, it's not done. Properly invite him. He refused. Mr. Raymond Archer refused to properly invite Wontumi. When Wontumi got out of the police headquarters,
all right,
they accosted him and arrested him in a Rambo style, which was very wrong.
All right.
And then when he got there, they started frustrating him. That is why the caucus went to EOCO in a civil protest, which is far right guaranteed in the Constitution, because when things are going wrong, it's our responsibility to protest it. And with this all right, in accordance with law, without interference. All I'm saying is that he should do his job, but do it professionally. What is happening is that he's exposing himself. He's not going on in an investigative journalism where you want to pin something and then deal with it in a certain manner for public, discuss. You are dealing with a matter that will go to a court of law. You are dealing with evidence. So how you go about it is something else. You are not saying that Kofi Juma, you told your officers that they should wait. He's taking medication. They should give you one hour and all of that. All these are not true with respect. We've had one-on-one encounter as a leader. I've had one-on-one encounter with these party members. You pick the man up from his house. Kofi Juma is the man in his 70s. He's been part of the politics of this country, a mayor, member of parliament, chief executive of public institutions. Would he run away? If you invite him, he will come. Grant him there, let him go. Sir, can report tomorrow, 9 a.m. EOCO DNI does it all the time.
All right.
Police CID does it all the time. The person will not run away anywhere, he will come.
Thank you.
If Raymond to show his power, I can tell you that his own party is not with him.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Professional.
Thank you. Osahin Afenyo Markin is a minority leader, and he joined us to express his frustrations and concerns about what he says is the wrong approach to which Raymond Archer is handling the important office of EOCO. I'm sure that Raymond will disagree with him, but again, Dr. Justice C0řřúpt, who is the Deputy Attorney General, who is the one leading this prosecution to over this 78.2 million Ghana cedis in the buffer stock matter, joins us. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
On this occasion, I'm not your president, please.
Oh, you remember I was a judge?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, so in that context.
I understand.
Yes. So let me first of all make this clear that this administration, and I'm talking of this government, has done everything it can to protect the fundamental human rights of citizens. Something you recall that a few months ago, before we came to power, having the public demonstration was an issue. And the whole of the Flagstaff House and its perimeter was declared as national security zone, for which reason nobody was allowed to have demonstrations there.
Yes, I'm in court. I'm in court fighting for people whose rights were abused during those demonstrations.
Exactly. You and I have done a lot in that respect, and police brutality, and even politicians who slap policemen on camera and all. We fought for those people, and we still, while we came to office, we have made everything possible to ensure that those barbaric incidents are things of the past. And today, every person who wants to demonstrate right in front of the Flagstaff House everywhere is given the opportunity to do so. The second thing we have done to ensure the protection of human rights when it comes to suspects and accused persons is that it is our policy never to oppose bail. So if you go through the court records of all these cases that we are doing, we go to court and not even once have we opposed any bail. What we end up doing is to urge the court to give conditions that will make sure that the accused person is available for trial. That is another major shift in policy that we have done. Now, when it comes to interrogation, now you would even notice that when you visit police stations and even EOCO and other places, they try as much as possible to keep schedules so that you do not go and sit down at a place and wait for 3 days without seeing anyone. So these are things that we have done which have improved significantly on the human rights protection of citizens.
Okay.
Now, there was something which I think you mentioned something in the discussion concerning the proceedings that happened in the Hanan case.
Correct.
And I believe my understanding of what you said, and I may be wrong, is that one of the reasons why we withdrew the charges against Hanan was because of an objection that Hanan's lawyers raised in court. Let me give you the context. So and I'm sure you have done criminal trials, and you know very well that when it comes to even amendment of witness statement or substitution of witness statement, you could do that by oral application. Is that not the case?
It's possible. So some judges allow it.
Pardon?
I said it's possible. Some judges allow it.
Yes, some judges allow that. So this being the first time we are appearing before the current judge on the Hanan case, I think an attempt was made to make an oral, amendment or substitution of the witness statement, to which the lawyer for Hanan, opposed. And the judge said once the lawyer on the other side opposes, the advisable thing to do, or what he would order, is for us to file a formal motion. And therefore, the judge refused to accept the oral withdrawal, which means that we have to go and file. That is a completely different matter, which could be resolved simply by filing. And in fact, let me add this to you that in another case before the same judge, we tried it, and he said we should file, and we are going to file. a new witness. We are going to file a new process. So these are things that happen and are normal in trial.
Yes, but in this case, as we understand it, you didn't seek the leave of the court before you filed the new witness statement. You just went ahead and filed it, and they are entitled to object, and they successfully objected, and they got it struck off.
And what we were supposed to do is to seek leave to file. Now, what my problem is when I get the impression that you are trying to connect that to the reason for withdrawing the charge sheet, to withdrawing the charges against Hanan, and I'm saying that has very little to do with it. As I mentioned in my communication to the public, it is upon the discovery of fresh evidence. And we are at liberty to make certain decisions. For example, we could have, if we look at the evidence and the evidence is a different transaction, we could have charged him in a different court with those charges from the fresh evidence. But we considered the fact that we said, look, it is not the best to put one person through trial in different courts. If it is possible for you to merge the charges and present the same person in the same court. In any case, the current case is just a TMC. We have not even called one witness, so trial has not actually begun. So the information we had and the decision we took was to try as much as we can to be fair, to give the accused person fair, expeditious, and less expensive trial. That is what we are doing. If that would be interpreted as an abuse of the accused person's, right.
Now the question is, when they were asked to return to EOCO on Thursday, and they returned to EOCO on Thursday, it was only the husband who was asked a few questions within an hour, and nothing new has come up. I must announce to my audience, just a second, hold on. I must announce to my audience that, hold on, Justice,
the case was withdrawn because
Justice, listen to me. Can you hear me? I'm announcing to my audience that, as you can see, it's 12 o'clock, but we are doing an extra 30 minutes. Join us on television and the PDS matter to the people who are involved, whose story Raymond Archer has sought to contradict, are joining us to share the counter view. They say that Raymond has not been, sincere with us. So in the PDS matter, they are also joining us. Stay with us because we are speaking to the lawyers as well.
Can I round up and leave because I have
No, it's not you I'm talking to. So you go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
PDS issue which I will be able to speak to. So if you can let me just round up on this one, and then the PDS matter would be dealt with.
That's fine.
Separately from. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make is that I agree that lawyers the words that lawyers speak carry weight. Okay. But we should also be careful not to take a lawyer's word as if it is the truth. And I see repeatedly that Raymond was trying to draw your attention to the fact that you appear to be taking the account of Hanan's lawyers as if it is the fact. But that is their version of the story. And it's important that in as much as we are public officers and ought to be giving account of what we are doing, it is not possible to be attending and speaking to some of these details everywhere. So my plea is that when lawyers come and they say things in the media, it is important that we report those things as their word rather than to make it look as if that is the fact. And I think that would be a fair representation than to communicate a lawyer's view of what happened as if it's the truth. The truth can be a combination of their side, our side, and probably another side to find the truth. So if I speak to you, you can say, I said so. The officials are saying this, but not to make it look as if what I have said is the gospel truth.
What is this new evidence that has led to this?
I think, as Raymond said, if the lawyers are saying that there are no new evidence, it's okay. Eventually, these matters will come to the court and we'll file our charge sheet. And when we file it, it will be clear whether there's a new evidence or not. So I wouldn't take the wind out of the sail. I think we should just remain calm.
These are significant public interest matters. Even before you started, even before you entered the courtroom, you told us about the evidence and how this thing was really bad in the 78.2 million theft and money laundering. So why don't you update the public using this vehicle? What has happened?
The public will be updated when we find it necessary. So it is not as if we will not update the public. We definitely will update the public, but just as the first time, we chose the time to do the update. And this time around, I think we are entitled to choose the time. What is more important is that eventually the public will get to know that this is the new evidence and this is what has happened.
Okay. But briefly on the Benjamin Alpha's communication on the PDS, can you say something to us about it? Because it doesn't look like Raymond is aware that it is the subject of the 850 million missing, money in the Cal Bank account. Did we lose Cřùshès? Okay, it looks like we did.
We ne ensema ekoso ewo political highway. So Raymond Acha and I yet nka Afenyo Markins so kasa ni nyina na yede maamo ha se yebeda masesamo je pene kokoti sa ensem we ede mai aha gossip politics TV so beda wase.